Good God. I'm rusty. Welcome back to me in my pajamas, many months later. I feel like I need to just make myself make whatever. So if this video is crap, then this video is crap. But at least I made something, because I've not made anything in a disgustingly long time. So I feel like I'm gonna just mush two videos together, because again, every time I tell myself I'm gonna make one or the other, I end up not doing them. And now that I'm sitting here, I'm just gonna do everything I can all at once. So I'm gonna talk about one, just a quick life update for anyone who cares. And if you don't, you can skip ahead or you can click away. The second is I'll talk about TMS therapy, which I talked about in the beginning of 2020 before the world fell apart, and my experience with TMS and how I feel it either benefited or didn't benefit me, and if I think it works. So this video is going to be a few things, because at least it's a video. At least I've actually hit record on something. Little life update. I guess I'll just go chronologically. I got a new job, which is cool. I work a steady Monday through Friday 9 to 6 in the city job, and it's still in the field I want to be in, but basically it's a place where I can learn a lot of the gear, which is exciting, and I look forward to what I can learn, and then I can then move into operating camera eventually down the road. That would be pretty cool. That's what I've been trying to do. I mean, any job has its ups and downs, I guess, but this job also sent me to LA for 2 weeks, which was really exciting. I'd never been anywhere near California or the West at all, barring that one time I went to Dallas, Texas for like 2 days just to see 21 Pilots, as one does. So that was one of the coolest experiences of my life, traveling alone to a big city and being there on a work trip for this new job that's like getting me further where I want to go. Am I still at the bottom of the totem pole? Yes. Yes and no. I am no longer at the bottom of the film industry totem pole. I'm really kind of like an inch higher than I was as far as film industry goes. In this company, I'm at the bottom. That's pretty much every job I've ever had has been me starting at the bottom and hoping that I work my way up. I'm hoping this one sticks. Anyway, I really am very thankful for the opportunity, and I've worked really hard to get to where I am, and I hope that my hard work pays off. And if it doesn't, on a more somber note, this is really the only update of my personal life, is that if you've followed my channel for any amount of time or watched my Twitch streams, well, there's a spoiler right there, my God. Then you probably have seen my cats, Oliver and Bailey, but Bailey passed away about a month ago. The Friday, I guess it was midnight, so Saturday morning of the weekend of Memorial Day. And that was and continues to be one of the harder things I feel like I've ever lived through. I've experienced grief in different ways, but I mean, I lost a grandmother when I was like 8 years old, and that was obviously very hard, but I've really not had to deal with such a big loss before, I don't think. I mean, I've had pets pass away, and those were all devastating, but she was 19 when she passed away, and she was everything to me. I had her since I was 8 years old, and I turned 26 about a week later, and I'm going to love her for the rest of my life. I am. I got a tattoo of her, but ignore the like nasty rash that broke out on it from using Sanoderm. Anyway, once it's like healed better, maybe I'll show you guys. So I did not think I was gonna get another cat for a very long time. I still have Oliver. He's fat and happy and mean. The other night, I just out of morbid curiosity was researching what I would do in a scenario where I got another cat and how to introduce them. I mean, I've done it before. I've introduced cats to other cats, but I just wanted to refresh myself. And some little goblin part of my brain was like, let me just look on the Humane Society website. Let me just look for no reason. And they had pictures, of course they did, of animals available at the shelter. They had pictures of cats. And I saw this cat named Delta at the time on their website that I was just obsessed with. I couldn't wait a second longer. That night I saw her picture. The next morning I was at the shelter. And I was like having to wait outside because they limit the amount of people that can be in there at one time. And I was like, someone's gonna snatch her. She is so cute. Let me see if I can find that little bugger. Her name's Nadia. I named her after Nadia from What We Do in the Shadows. She just, look at this. Look at her beautiful little coat. Oh my God. Anyway, this is her. She is 9 months old. I didn't want to get a kitten because I didn't think I had the ability to take care of one the way it needed to be taken care of, considering how much I work. I didn't want to have to leave one home all day. And she is still very young, but she's kind of at the age where I can leave her unsupervised already. I mean, I've only had her for a handful of days at this point, and she knows the litter box. She eats her own food, gets her own water. She already like understands where she is and is not allowed to scratch. So far, she doesn't destroy anything. She's like a shockingly well-behaved cat. So that's pretty much me all caught up as far as life updates. So now moving on to TMS. For those of you who maybe didn't watch that video, don't care to watch that video, and you just want to watch this one, or if you just have me on to like fall asleep too, then you'll get to like learn something in your subconscious while I say this. But if you don't know what TMS is, it stands for transcranial magnetic stimulation. And it is, quote, a non-invasive procedure that uses magnetic fields to stimulate nerve cells in the brain to improve symptoms of depression. TMS is typically used when other depression treatments haven't been effective. This treatment for depression involves delivering repetitive magnetic pulses. I did that treatment pretty much every weekday, so Monday through Friday, for about 40 minutes, and then when COVID happened, they like reduced it for some reason. The timing once COVID happened would change, so I may not be there as long, or my treatments were a little more spread out just so they could accommodate people having to come in and then disinfect everything, and everything was insane last year. Oh my god, it wasn't last year, it was 2 years ago. As for how I did on it, I honestly don't know. When I first started the treatment, I actually genuinely felt better. It made me super tired afterwards, which I was told was really normal because it's actually like exercising your brain in like an area that's been deactive or not as active as you want it to be. So your brain's tired from having to work correctly. And I felt like it was starting to work. Like maybe this is some miracle where I have this treatment and then I go into like remission for depression and I don't have symptoms. I don't have depression anymore. Or at least it's way more manageable. Then COVID happened and the clinic shut down for 2 weeks, which meant I didn't get any treatments for 2 weeks. And according to the doctor, that's not something that would affect me long term. However, those 2 weeks, I just spiraled out of control. It felt like the world was ending. I didn't know when the clinic would open back up. I thought I had finally gotten a chance to be cured and that it was taken from me by some act of God, some plague upon the land. And like I was worried about 1,000 other things too. Everyone was when that all happened, and it just all kind of compounded on each other. And I felt so awful. So I feel like any progress I made had been undone, and then I even got somehow worse than ever. 2020, I really was the worst I think I'd ever been. I used to say 2016 was the worst year of my life because I had like an eating disorder and depression and no friends in college. But I think 2020 for most people was their worst year. But when it started back up, I kept going again as diligently as I could. And I think in some ways it helped because it gave me somewhere to be every day at a certain time. Otherwise, I never left the house. It was a routine, and it was a semblance of hope because I never lost hope that it would work. I woke up every day knowing I had to go to that appointment, and every day driving there, I felt like I was at least putting in effort to get better. I could not say I wasn't trying because I was. And that at least was some kind of hope. And then once I got my full-time PA job in February of 2021, I basically had to stop doing treatments because I couldn't. I worked for 12 hours and the job was an hour away from my house. I was gone 14 hours a day, every day of the week, except for the weekends, which of course the clinic is closed. So I did TMS for a year, from February 2020 to February 2021. Oh my god, there's cat hair on my nose. And my doctor told me that TMS continues to work even after you stop the actual treatment. I have to just read what he said. The activation of those synapses continue to fire, and as you do things to feel better, you continue to train that part of your brain. That's like roughly what a doctor told me. So I was working full time. I was reading a lot more, mostly because this job would have random extensive downtimes, and I just needed to kill time while also not just scrolling endlessly on my phone. And I needed to like look busy. But I was busy. I didn't have to just dwell in my brain like I did for most of my life up to that point, but especially in 2020. I was making money. I finally moved out of my parents' house. A lot of good things came out of that job, and I had a lot of happy moments because of it. My brain was and is still fuzzy. I still fall into the depths of my despair. I have to laugh at it because if I don't laugh, it's awful. It's almost as if I never had treatment. How bad I can still get, it's as if I was never treated. So did TMS work? Like I said, I don't know. I have been doing a lot of research on autism in women, and while I can't afford a formal diagnosis, I do feel like I am almost certainly on the spectrum. I only have a bachelor's degree in psychology. Why did I use this arm? That right there. It seems likely given my history and my childhood and the way I view the world. I'm just now realizing the awful blue cast on this from my computer. I didn't want to set this up nice. Like, just booting up that computer was way more effort than I can ever explain to someone who doesn't live in this brain. I don't know if TMS worked. I still belong in the loony bin, and life is weird and sometimes cool and sometimes awful and scary, and losing Bailey broke my heart more than anything ever could. I think that's not true. I don't want to say universe, don't. So this is a video of me, of TMS, of cats, and of really terrible lighting. So here's hoping I edit it and then it sees the light of day. And even if I hate it, if you hate me, even if we hate it, you upload the stupid thing. I hopefully will Twitch stream again eventually. I'm always tired after work because, of course, I did buy Skyward Sword, and I have been playing it off stream because I needed to just be a person who plays video games for fun, because I think for a while I was burned out on video games because I only played them on Twitch. I just wanted to remind myself that I do enjoy playing them outside of like trying to have people watch me or whatever. I mean, it's fun to play on Twitch because it can be lonely and boring to play video games without like having friends. Like, I love just sitting and watching my roommate play games, and vice versa. I like when I'm playing and he comes to just like hang out and chat while I play, or like comment on how terrible I'm doing, or I get to comment on how terrible he's doing. You know, if you watch Twitch, you know why it's fun. So I do miss like the community aspect of it. I miss like the silliness, and I do want to do it again. It's just to do this by itself was a mountain to get over, and I just gotta rest from this mountain and then climb the Twitch mountain. This was this. Thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit. Maybe I'll see you again soon. Peace.